The more that you can get done, the quicker you will get your business off the ground and make more sales. So while it might not seem essential when you don't have any clients, you don't have any income coming in yet, having a virtual assistant to take care of those things that grow your audience and that can get you in front of the right people, that will help you to grow faster. Welcome to Imperfect Action. I'm Steph Taylor. For years, I read all the books, downloaded all the freebies, and did all the courses. But it wasn't until I started taking imperfect action that my business had its first $1 million year. Imperfect action is about doing things before you're ready, prioritizing consistent action over perfect action, and moving forward, even when you're not sure you're doing it right. On this show, you can expect mindset advice, actionable marketing tips, and strategies to build a business that brings you more profit, more freedom, and even more joy. Are you on the list to get my daily Biz Boosters? Every day, I'll send you a bite-sized prompt designed to help you grow your business in a more intentional way. Sign up at stephtaylor.co/DBB or at the link in the show notes. Hey, welcome back to Imperfect Action. This is episode 651. Today, I'm talking about where I would spend my limited budget if I was starting my business again from scratch, right? If I had $5,000 to start a business, where would I spend it? Now, I want to say this episode is going to be mainly relevant to online businesses and, personal brand style businesses like mine, where I'm charging for my own services, my own digital products, not where I'm selling a physical product or running a bricks and mortar business or creating and selling some kind of software, right? Because when you are positioning yourself as the expert and selling your own services or your knowledge, then you have much lower startup costs than somebody who's having to go and invest in buying physical products or creating physical products from scratch or taking out a lease on a store or an office or having to pay for software development. All of those are going to cost a little bit more than $5,000 to start. But this episode was really inspired by one of my most popular episodes of all time, which was an episode I shared in 2022, episode 515. If I was starting over with no audience, no products, and no business, this is what I would do. It has been one of the best. I've got the most feedback from it. It's also been one of the most listened to episodes. And if you want to go back and listen to that, head over to Instagram. I'm over there at stephtaylor.co. DM me the numbers 515, DM me that, and I will send you instantly the direct link to listen to that episode. Okay, so where would I spend my money if I was starting from scratch? Well, I think visual branding and website is probably one of the first places that most people will go and spend their money when they're starting out. And I think back to my first business, the second main investment, the first major investment I made in my first business, the one that made it all feel really real, was when I spent, I think, $2,500 on postage satchels so I could go and send my orders out. And by buying them in bulk, I was saving a lot of money. So I bought them all up front, and that was really scary. But then the second investment I made was in my website. Now, I think in the personal brand world, in the online business world, I don't think visual branding is as important as it is if you are creating a physical product or an e-commerce business. I know I have a lot of designers who are listening to this right now being like, Steph, what are you talking about? But I think you can get away with DIY branding for the first couple of years. As long as it's really simple, not a fancy logo, it's just your name in a nice font. Okay, just that simple word mark, I think is the technical term for it. Okay, not a fancy logo. And then once you have clients, once your business is a little bit more established, then go and invest in a designer to give you a really beautiful, consistent visual brand. But keep it simple. One font for your logo, 2 or 3 fonts at maximum for the rest of your brand, and a couple of colors. And you can even find ready-made color palettes for branding online and go with that until you are ready to get a little bit of a rebrand. Then as far as the website goes, I would probably set up a really simple DIY website on Kajabi. So rather than going through the whole process of setting up a WordPress site or getting a beautiful Squarespace design, I would go with a really simple one on Kajabi. It's probably not going to be the prettiest, but it's easy for you to DIY. And all it really is there for is to sell somebody on your services, to get those first few clients in. So the total cost of that is maybe $50 for your domain, okay? And Kajabi, which we'll talk about in a minute. Then the one place that I would really truly spend money on is brand strategy and copy. So I would invest in working with somebody who is really good with brand strategy. And it might be two people. It might be a brand strategist and a copywriter. It might be somebody who does both. $5,000 won't get you the best of the best. That is for sure. But for maybe $2,000 to $3,000, you could get somebody who has that better understanding of brand strategy and copy than you do. And they'd be able to help you with, this is what the offers are going to be that you sell. This is how you're going to communicate it. This is what's going on in your ideal client's mind. So this is how we can write words that actually speak to them. And I would invest in getting the copywriter to write the pages where you're going to be selling, the pages where you need to convert. So any sales pages, if you have a course, a services page, the work with me page, whatever you want to call that, and the homepage, because even though the homepage might not directly convert into your offers, as my friend Anita from Wordfetti says, the homepage is like your airport terminal, where somebody's coming onto there and they're wanting to get redirected to wherever they need to go. So a homepage is still pretty important. But then I wouldn't invest in getting them to write all of the other pages. That would then be on you to write. So having that working with that brand strategist would force you to get really clear on your messaging. And it means that your brand communicates itself professionally from the start. I think even though visual brand is what looks really nice, I think it's the words that you use that really have that impact of whether somebody's going to buy from you or not. So let's say we'd spend maybe $2,500 on that. Then the next would be software. So you could spend a lot of money on different tools and different apps. I would just invest in Kajabi, and I would build my business from scratch just in that one place, right? I could use that to build my email list. It has a booking scheduling functionality. So if somebody wants to book calls, it has checkout. So if somebody wants to pay me, they can pay me through that. It has the functionality to host my courses. It has the functionality to keep notes on clients. It's a CRM. It has all of the things. Even if I wanted to start a podcast, I can host my podcast on there, right? So I would just invest in Kajabi and build it all from scratch there. It's about $200 a month. So if we said, let's budget about 3 months, $600. So that's $600 of the total budget. If you want a month free, I have a link for you to get a 30-day free trial. You can grab that at stephtaylor.co/Kajabi. We'll have the link for that in the show notes as well. So I would use that as the one place that kind of like the hub for my business, rather than picking and choosing lots of different pieces of software and, going with the ones that are the cheapest now and then having to piece them all together. And then potentially as you start to grow, they get more expensive. I would just start as I intend to continue with that one. Then the next one would be legals and compliance. Now that's going to vary very much depending on what country you are in. In Australia, I forget how much exactly, but I know company registration's roughly around $400. So I would include that in my budget as well if I were registering a company. Obviously, always consult your lawyer, consult your accountant, find out what is going to work best for your situation. I am not giving you personal advice here. Trademarking, if you have a brand name that you don't want anyone to copy, then you might want to add a trademark into the budget as well. And last episode 650 with Riz, we talked about copyrights, we talked about trademarking, and we talked about what to do if you have a copycat. Again, if you want to listen to that episode, hop on over to Instagram. I'm over there at stephtaylor.co and DM me 650, so 650, and I'll send you the direct link to listen to that episode. The next thing I would consider investing in from the start is a virtual assistant. Now, this sounds so counterintuitive, this can't be essential when I don't have any income coming in yet, surely I can't justify paying somebody else to support me. And this depends. So if you are 100% full-time in your business, you have nothing else pulling you away. You're not side hustling. You're not at home with your kids or babies or anything like that. You can be 100% focused full-time on your business. Then you can probably get away just yourself at the start. But if you are side hustling, then a virtual assistant can be a really great way to grow your business faster, because the more that you can get done, the quicker you will get your business off the ground and make more sales. So while it might not seem essential when you don't have any clients, you don't have any income coming in yet, having a virtual assistant to take care of those things that grow your audience and that can get you in front of the right people, that will help you to grow faster. So things like pitching podcast interviews on your behalf, pitching for collaborations, creating content, or scheduling your content, repurposing the content that you are creating. All of those things, when you're limited on time, those things fall to the wayside. But those are the things that get you in front of the right people and will help you to grow faster. Now, I will say that getting an offshore VA, so potentially one in the Philippines, that will be more cost effective than one who is locally based most of the time. When you're starting out, that is probably the option that I would look at. So if you budget maybe, say, $1,000 of our $5,000 budget that we're playing with today, for about 2 to 3 months worth of 5 hours of support each week. And as long as you know what that 5 hours, what they're going to do in that 5 hours, that could be 5 hours of growth tasks, and you brief them really well, that's going to help you to grow a lot faster. And then the last thing that I would invest in. So what is left? We've got about $450 left on our budget. I would probably spend this on Facebook ads to build my email list. This is controversial, I know, but I would spend this on Facebook lead ads. I would create a really strong lead magnet that's going to attract the right people. It's going to attract my ideal client. Maybe my virtual assistant would have helped me to create the PDF of it or edit the recordings if it's audio or video. And I would use these lead ads to get somebody to download my lead magnet and build my email list. And if we say it's costing about $2 to $3 per lead, that's 150 to 200 people on my email list now, which isn't insignificant if you are starting from scratch. And I would go into this knowing already, what is that sales process going to be? When somebody downloads that lead magnet, what is the call to action at the end of that nurture sequence? So they're going to get the series of emails after they download the lead magnet. What is the call to action going to be at the end? Is it that they're going to book in a discovery call with me and then we can explore how they could work with me? Or will the call to action be directly to my course? What will it be? Generally, going directly to the course probably won't convert that well, so I shouldn't have used that as an example. But if they're booking in a call, maybe we could convert 2 or 3 of those 150 to 200 people into a paying client. And then I would also be regularly emailing my list. So once those 200 people are on that list, I would be regularly emailing them, and I would make sure that I'm starting to nurture these people. Okay, I definitely would not run Facebook ads directly to my offers at this stage, because at this stage, I probably wouldn't have the messaging nailed yet. I don't have much audience insight to work with yet. So at least with the leads, I'm attracting the right people because I've made sure that my lead magnet is strategic. It's the right one. And now they're on my email list. So I can keep emailing them. I can keep reaching them for free. And I can use that email list to test any new offers that I want to make to my audience. So there you have it. There is our $5,000 budget. It goes pretty quickly, right? And then as more money comes in, I would be reinvesting quite a lot at the start, right? So I would be potentially saving up a bit to invest in visual branding. Then I would maybe be investing in getting a copywriter to write the rest of the pages and potentially running some more Facebook ads to get my email list a little bit bigger. That is where I would be focusing now. And, a lot of this is a little bit unconventional. Absolutely. I know. But I think that's really where it's really about spending your budget a lot smarter, right? It's being really smart with it when we do have a limited budget and thinking ahead of time. This is something I didn't do very well when I was starting my first business. I had the budget and it felt like a lot of money at the time. I think I had maybe $10,000 to start my business, which felt like a huge amount of money. And it disappeared really quickly because I wasn't intentional about where the money was going to go. I hadn't planned ahead. So if you can plan ahead and think about where am I going to budget? Where am I going to spend this? That will make a really big difference. All right. That is it for today's episode. Make sure you hit the subscribe button or follow in Spotify so that you get every brand new episode delivered straight to your podcast app every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you haven't already left a quick rating and a review, please take 2 seconds to do it. It really means a lot to me when you do. I read every single one of them, and I've been loving reading all of the new ones that have been coming in this month. So please keep it up. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you next time.